our families here in the state of Minnesota. George Floyd was the face of over 470 murders that have been committed against the citizens here in the state of Minnesota. But yet, only one officer in history of Minnesota has ever been held accountable for killing a civilian. And that was a minority man that killed a Caucasian woman. We do not believe in our hearts that that is the only officer out of hundreds of murders, that was guilty at the hands of law enforcement here in the state of Minnesota. So I stand here today in solidarity, demanding justice for George Floyd and demanding justice for all of our families. We have community members that have community leaders who have been standing in solidarity with us, that are standing here with us today, demanding justice for the citizens. What we seen with the uprise with George Floyd was not the result of only one man's life. It was the result of hundreds of murders here in the state of Minnesota and thousands around the United States with no justice. We are tired. We are tired of pleading with the legislators to make the appropriate changes that we need. We are tired of mourning and pleading and crying for changes to be made, to be ignored. They tell us that they are reaching out to the communities. The mayors, they say that they're reaching out to the communities, but who has reached out to our hurting families? There is a reparation board that helps families that lose a loved one to police. They help them with mental health services. They help with, if the person had children, $400 a month until they're 18. And they help with the funeral costs. But if your loved one is killed by a civilian, it is assumed that your loved one is not a victim and that they did something to deserve the murder that happened. So we do not qualify for those services. We have families that have gone homeless, and we're left out in the community with any services after they murder our loved ones in cold blood. I am going to let each family, every family is going to introduce themselves and introduce their loved ones today. We will also have a scroll with all of the names of the people that have lost their lives here in the state of Minnesota that have not received justice. My name, again, is Tashira Garraway. I am the fiance and the mother of Justin Tigan's 14-year-old son. Justin Tigan was brutally beat to death by the St. Paul police and thrown inside of a trash dumpster August 19, 2009. I have been harassed and followed. I am afraid for my life. Many other families have been harassed. They are afraid for their life. These people are dangerous. They're still out here in the community, and they're walking free. Thank you, and we're going to have the next family come forward.
Hello, Mom. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, guys. Just thank you all for coming. My name is Matilda Smith. I am the mother of Jaffrey Smith. Jaffrey Smith was killed May 9th, 2016 in a residential neighborhood. It was still behind someone's home. Shot 49 to 52 times. Left back there about 19 hours with his pants pulled down to his foot. We want justice. We want it for not only Jaffrey Smith, we want it for all of them. We want justice for George Floyd. We want justice for Cordell Handy. We want justice for Fumi Lee. We want justice for every individual that the police has killed. We're traumatized. We're very devastated. We gets no apology, we gets nothing. Not right, and we're just gonna fight. We're gonna fight until we can't fight anymore. Thank you.
Welcome. Was there no justice? There's no peace. My name is Marilyn Gill. My son Demetrius Hill was killed by an officer named Victor back in April 28th of 24th, 1997. This is like 24 years ago. He was killed in an apartment building that my mother and father lived in. He had 6 bullets put in his body, shot in the back. The officer that killed him, and the officers that were involved in the murder came up with a story, planted a gun, and put in the papers lies regarding my son. Today I'm here to find justice because the lies that they covered up and to cover their story is needs to be brought to the truth. And I know that these women are fighting for the truth out here because, like Derek, they shot that boy just recently in the back, and it makes me think about 23 years ago when they shot my son, and then they called themselves planting a gun, but they shot that boy innocent. That was an innocent boy when they done that to him. And so when we look back then, how they silence you, make you where you're afraid to speak, and today they have cameras, phones, so let the truth be told, and we all demand justice, and we want this truth to come out. And I'm hoping that the truth will come out and these officers will have justice. Thank you. You're here.
Hi, my name is Tiffany. This is my sister Danielle. We are the siblings of Jamar Clark. He was a 24-year-old young man who was murdered by 4th Precinct Police. On November 15th, 2015, he was handcuffed and shot in the face, point blank range. Again, no justice. Our family has been through so much with the state and the police department covering up my brother's murder and tormenting our family. We've had several times where we were afraid to speak out, afraid to share his story, afraid to tell the truth because our lives have been in danger. So we stand in solidarity with not only our families here, but with George Floyd's family to seek justice for all of us. And first and foremost, just keeping our families at the forefront of everything when it comes to seeking justice and allowing our families to speak out and allowing that space, because a lot of the times they try to shut us up. They try to, silence us, but we're here and we're going to continue to speak out, and we're going to continue to fight.
My name is Debbie Smith. My son is Quincy Smith. I'm sticking for him because he can't. The reason he can't is in December 9th, 208, Officer Timothy Derek, who Quincy was already in court with for police brutality. Officer John Brandon, Nicholas McCarthy, Christopher Humphrey, Carlos Beers Esteban decided they were going to silence him completely. Quincy was a 24-year-old new father that I ended up with a 10-week-old baby to raise, and I'm looking at retirement. And yes, we need justice, but we also need these enforced. That limitation to say when we can come forward for our loved ones to fight needs to be removed. Our children should have the right to speak up for their parents. My grandson, Quincy Sr., wants the right to speak up for his dad. He wants this passed that when he's 18, he can come back and tell Derek, Sean, Nicholas, Christopher, and Carlos what a horrible thing they did that night in the alley. All of our children make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, but no one has the right to kill them. And then cover it up to say that they are such a horrible person. There was no video for my child. Well, none they can find. The car videos were off, according. So we need to be able to have something on our side. I wasn't allowed to go to a grand jury. The grand jury only hears the police side, and of course they're going to acquit them. We are not allowed to come in and speak for our children. So that's why today I am speaking for Quincy, because Quincy was fighting for police brutality, and ironically, that's what killed him. Yes, our families get harassed, but I put the harassment back. When you pass by my house and wave, I wave back. When they tell me you need to be quiet, I say God has got me talking.
Listen.
I am still here. This will be the 13th year that I am still here. So I say to everyone, don't be afraid to set up. They murdered your loved ones. We can't bring them back, but we can speak for them. And I am speaking for Quincy because Derek and he were already in a lawsuit. Derek knew this when he approached my child. All of them know this. So that wall of silence is for us. It's not for them. They all know what's going on. And the ones who are not bad, because everybody is not bad in anything, they need our support too so they can root out the bad ones. When Derek Chauvin was on, with his neck on George Floyd, his knee on George Floyd's neck, the whole world was able to see that. Yeah. That's why they can have that video. They can't silence that. I'm asking everybody, my son is asking everybody to step up. Because one of your loved ones could be next, or it could be you. These vigilante cops that are running free do not think we can do anything about it, and we can. We are supporting each other, we are standing behind each other, and if one of us is murdered, we already know who did it. Yeah. I have did 13, well, they stopped harassing me because, like I say, I am not shutting up. My son can't talk, but I can talk for him. Yeah. Quincy was fighting for police brutality to end. He was already in a civil suit with Derek for arresting him for jaywalking and resisting arrest, which is at 2 o'clock in the morning coming from a bar. How are you going to single out one black man?
Thank you. Thank you.
So I am asking everybody, listen, speak up, help us pass these, especially that statute of limitations, because these children are left without a father, need to have some recourse if their parents should die. I may pass, if God doesn't, hope not, before my child, grandson, reaches 18, but he has to have the right to stand up and say what happened to his dad that wasn't fair, and not to sit and say that's enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Most of you know me. I'm Fernando Castillo's mother, Valerie Castillo. We have gathered here today as a visual statement. We're making a statement today because we're all standing here in unity. What happened to Philando should never have happened to anyone. And my question is, where do we go from here when your honesty and integrity means nothing? My son told the truth and he was honest about that weapon. And in turn, he was murdered. He was shot 5 times. That man was so close to my son's body that the blowback went back on him and there was a bullet casing inside the car. Who is going to go into a shootout with a woman and a child in the car? I mean, come on now. This mess is crazy. And the guy was acquitted, and you had everything you needed to get a prosecution. He should have been convicted with the amount of evidence that was against him. He should have been convicted, but he wasn't. But we stand here today in unity and in force. We're here in force. We're making a statement today. We're making a statement today because we're not going to tolerate and sit back and not say nothing about the murder of our children. Because it could be any one of you. Any one of you could be murdered by the police and nothing will be done because they were in fear for their life. That in fear for my life is too vague. They need to have that more ironclad where he has to know that he was actually in fear for his life. You can't keep saying that. Freeman made a precedent. He convicted someone. But we're going to have to be brutally honest with what's going on in this country.
Come on.
The only person that's in jail is the black guy.
Listen.
Out of 400 and some people that have been murdered by the police here in the state of Minnesota have been not charged, acquitted, but the only person that's incarcerated is the black guy.
Come on.
He committed the ultimate sin. He killed a white woman.
Listen.
We're going to stop this foolishness today. We're going to stop the foolishness. We're going to tell the truth and shame the devil.
Amen.
But we are here today to stand in unity as a visual statement to the state of Minnesota that we're not going to shut up. We're not going to sit down. We're going to stand in unity and we're going to bring it to you. With this bill right here.
Right.
Call in, email, whatever department it's in to make sure that this bill is passed. Because we want this to stop.
Yeah.
Our kids deserve a chance to live.
Thank you, Mama Valerie.
Hi, my name is Ashley Quinones. I'm the wife of Brian Quinones. He was killed September 7th, 2019. Here I have our 14-year-old son, and then my grandfather who has joined in the fight. I'm basically just here because I'm sick and tired. I work with a lot of families. We're all united together across the country. We're going to start doing national action, and we're going to start holding people accountable, and that goes from the person in the office who thinks that they're just pushing papers to the person at the top who is making the calls, because we now know how everything works, and we know who everyone is. So I just am here praying that Minnesota can do something right for the first time in its history and prosecute a killer cop who did kill a man who did nothing but be black, and give us a little bit of faith, because this is ground zero. We are one of the slowest to progress. We are not passing or moving anything. Everything is an uphill battle. We're exhausted, and we need everybody who can get involved to get involved. If you know something, a trick to the trade, you know people in office, we need all of your guys' help, and that goes for every single person standing back here. This is the fight of our life. This is a fight for your life. So please get activated. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Ethan Heisler. I'm the brother of Kobe Heisler, and he was murdered by the Brooklyn Center Police on August 31st, 2019. Kobe was autistic and attempting to flee. He was scared for his life, and I don't think he was supposed to be murdered that day. Police don't ever get convicted. The BCA is corrupt. They don't convict the cops. They don't do a proper investigation. And that's about it.
That was good.
Hello, my name is Carlotta Madison. My brother Andre Madison was shot by Minneapolis police 24 years ago in 1996. I at first wondered if it was still relevant since it happened 24 years ago. But the thing about it is that it's still happening after 24 years ago. They served a no-knock warrant. They shot a flash grenade into the place where he was. And then the police proceeded to start shooting at each other because it was a chaotic scene where they didn't know who was at, they came from the back and from the front. It was actually in the police scariest shooting videos at that time. And they were shooting at each other. My brother hit the floor and was still shot in his arm and in his neck. Luckily, he survived that. And he was able to tell his truth, his side of the story, where they put their foot on his neck and told him to die. So I'm here today in solidarity with all the families that have been going through this since 24 years ago. And I want justice to be served. Thank you.
We want justice for you. Listen.
Johnson, my wife Allison. Travis Jordan was an artist, surfer, sommelier, animal lover, loving son and boyfriend, and my best friend. He was murdered November 9, 2018 by Minneapolis police officers Neil Walsh and Ryan Keyes. Both with around 11 months of street experience, they were dispatched on a wellness check for Travis. From the moment they arrived on scene, they started violating written policy on how to handle a mental health crisis. In roughly 3 minutes and 45 seconds, they agitated and coerced Travis, knowing he may have a knife, out of the safety of our home, needlessly placing Travis and themselves into a situation where they could claim a fear for their life. This blatant disobedience to policy, situational information, and a total lack of empathy and human decency caused these officers to shoot Travis Jordan 8 times, killing him. His last words, "I'm sorry." We are tired of being the quiet rain that gets washed away. Our stories will be the thunder and lightning and torrents of wind for justice. Travis's family, Taryn Vang, my wife, and myself stand in solidarity with the Floyd family and families of all stolen lives. Power to the people.
Power to the people.
So we are also standing here for Isaac Aiden, who was shot about, what was that, 2 years ago? July of 2019. Lionel Lewis, we stand here for Lionel Lewis, Cordell Handy, Marcus Golden, Monique Kayadori could not be here today because her father died. There are so many families. We will have the scroll so you guys can take footage. We have a few more families that would like to speak. One of the mothers that's here, she's having a really hard time. Can you give me the name of your loved one?
Walter Collins. That's my son.
Okay. One of the families, Walter Collins' family cannot come forward. They just don't have the strength right now. But we stand here. The baby wants to come forward for Walter Collins. That was stolen here in Minnesota. Would you like to speak?
My son's name was Walter Collins.
We got your back. We got your back. We got your back.
He was killed by mail, South Mail, 2 o'clock in the morning, by himself in his back. This is one of my grandkids. We got 24. He only seen 1. He's been gone for 16 years. We had 3 trials. They said that we tainted the jury. How did we taint the jury? We don't have the addresses, the phone numbers, or their names. I'm sorry. My wife's over there. She can't do it.
Amen. Amen.
As you can see, we talk about a man named Walter, who was killed 16 years ago. But yet, the family is standing here breaking down in tears. When they kill our loved ones, they don't just kill our loved ones and that's it, and everybody just goes on. They kill an entire family. They kill an entire community. They have stolen something from us that we can never get back. This state needs to be under federal investigation.
Listen.
It is murder after murder after murder. And these officers are walking free to kill more and more of our people. We will not be silenced any longer. They will not sweep these murders under the rug any longer. George Floyd, what we seen with George Floyd was harsh, but it was. Why have you shown us that in history of Minnesota? time, the United States is doing an action on the exact same day to stand in solidarity with George Floyd's family. What's being presented before you right now is over 470 murders in Minnesota alone. This is not the United States. This is only Minnesota. That Communities United Against Police Brutality has done research on and added name after name after name every year in the last 20 years alone. Is there any more families that need to come forward? Also, Soren, we have someone that was shot in the eye while peacefully protesting. He lost his entire eye while he was protesting for George Floyd's life. And any other families that want to come forward? Then we will have the families sit and get a rest. We will have all the community activists, because there's certain community activists that have stood strong with our families and that have fought for our families. And we will have all of you guys come forward, and also John McCollum, who will be talking about the bills that we are fighting for.
My name is Soren Stevenson. On May 31st, after George Floyd was killed in 2020, I was shot with a rubber bullet in my left eye, and I lost my entire left eye. I broke most of the bones in the left side of my face. I struggle with PTSD to this day. My relationships struggle because of it. And I'm standing here still in solidarity with George Floyd, along with all these families. I'm standing in solidarity with their families. I have no right to speak for their loved ones, but I have to say something because the police didn't kill me. I still have a voice, and I will continue to use that voice to get justice for those who can't use their voice.
Well, I am a father. I am a Dollar-Eid father, and they killed my son in Holland gas station in December 30th. He was 23 years old. When they killed him, they needed to call ambulance or 911. He was lying down in the car. His body would take 5 minutes. And they needed to check it out. If he needed help, that's not fair.
No,
it's not
that ain't
fair.
right.
And when they kill someone, the cop, they have to call 911. They need to call him within 35 minutes. He was, even they don't know if he will need help or not. I know what they don't care about him, because if they care about him, they needed to kill him, innocent boy.
Yes.
Because why they will kill this youth, all these names, why they will kill, why? They're supposed to live today and stay with us and have children and take care of the parents. Why they will kill? It's only Minneapolis police brutality. We have to change the system. We have to do some things. And we have to stand our rights. We cannot accept it. The Minneapolis, a mayor is the one who is responsible to hiding the truth. We need to get a justice. I want to speak with Somali. I got emotion. I want to speak the language.
I'll translate.
Waxaa wiilkayga way dileen ducaal ciid bay dileen November 30 waxayna u dileen sababta u dileen waxaa weeye because of colorkiis. He's a black man.
They killed my son Brutality on November 30th, and I know that they killed my son because of his skin color.
waxaa weeye wuxinaa meel kasta waxay ka dhigan baabuur xagga iyo xagga meel kasta baabuur meel u baxaya ma jiro.
They blocked him in with cars, as you can see in the video. He had nowhere to go.
waxay yidhaahdeen isagaa waxa badeeyey.
And they said that he shot.
And he did it.
And he did not.
waxay wada tusiyeen oo bes ah waxaa weeye iyaga oo tooganay suurgalaynaya.
The only thing we can see is them shooting and killing.
hadday runta waxayaan oo xaqiiqda ay sheegayaan maxay way noo tusin waayeen.
And if they believe that they have the truth, then why don't they clearly show that evidence to us?
waxaa weeye marka waxaan u imid maraykanka u keena carruurtayda oo lahaa waxaa weeye waa waqooyiga dimuqraatiga adduunka a model of a democrat.
I brought my children here to the United States because I was believing that the United States is the mother of democracy.
laakiin waxaan arkay hadda America inay tahay systemka ka jira Americada kale aan gaarin like Minneapolis. Okay, maayarkeeda, shariifkeeda, booliskooda inay wada yihiin dhammaantood cunsuriyiin oo ay necab yihiin kalarka madow.
And not speaking out for the rest of the country, but here in Minneapolis, I know that the mayor, the sheriff, the police, and the rest of them have anti-blackness, and that is why my son was killed.
My son and me, we didn't choose to be a black. It is Allah who choose us with that color, and we are proud to be a black.
Yes. Amen.
We need a justice.
So we're going to have the families, if all families have spoken, we'll have everyone sit down and get a rest and a break. We will have John McCullough. He wants to speak on the bills that we have. And the community activists who have worked with us on this very hard, that have been fighting with our families, will stand up alongside him as well. Thank you.
Before John starts, I need to get there.
Yeah, show.
This is a
Angela, step up.
scroll of all of the
This
take it.
Hello, my name is Jonathan McClellan with the Minnesota Justice Coalition. We are part of a collective of organizations who work with the families and community to draft and advance legislation and other policy initiatives at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. Law enforcement for decades has been pushing legislation to chip away at our civil liberties, our rights, and our communities by pushing policies that have absolved them of their crimes, weaken and remove checks of accountability, transparency, and justice, with access to unlimited resources and unfettered access to our elected leaders. We are the check, the collective pushing back for the people, for our shared communities through policy and legislation. This legislative document that has been signed are our legislative demands to start the healing of our communities here in the state of Minnesota. This legislation on this document has been introduced here, and we expect movement for real change. The 9 bills consist of ending qualified immunity, police professional liability insurance, civilian oversight strengthened, ending police-only responses to mental health calls, ending the statute of limitations on wrongful death, creating an independent investigatory and prosecutor's body, ending prosecution for reporting police misconduct, access to body cam footage within 48 hours, this is also known as Kobe's Law, and ending no-knock warrants. We also support the Hardale-Sherrill Act of 2021 and the Philando-Castile Omnibus Bill. There is not a silver bullet to solve the issues before us, but one thing I do know is that we all do better when we all do better. Paul Wellstone knew that. Our communities don't want lip service. We want commitment through our elected leaders, giving these bills a hearing and a vote. On Wednesday, the United States House of Representatives passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, a first step on a long road to justice, a road that we've been fighting on, praying on, dying on for generations. Minnesota should have been the first. This is the result of the Minnesota Senate's failure to do their job, because Minnesota is ground zero, and being last or not present doesn't cut it. So this is my advice to the Minnesota Senate, who refuses to give us a hearing. You are on a sinking ship. The life rafts will not be out for long. You can get on board with justice and help heal our shared communities, or you can drown in your ignorance. The ship of justice is setting sail, and we are not turning back, because our future and the future of our children and the future of our state depend on it. We hold up the families who have lost so much, and we demand justice. Make no mistake, what is going on is not a moment, it's a movement, and we intend to see it through. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michelle Gross, and I am one of the founders and currently the president of the organization Communities United Against Police Brutality. We celebrated our 20th anniversary in December. Before you, what you see is a scroll of names of people who have been killed by law enforcement in the state of Minnesota. 5 of the names on this scroll belong to Derek Chauvin. This man is not a one-time killer. He is a serial killer. And it's important that we recognize that as he was acting as a serial killer, the city of Minneapolis failed time and again to hold him accountable. And because they failed to hold him accountable, because they failed to have policies in place that would end his reign of terror, because of these things, they created the conditions that allowed George Floyd to be killed. That is a fact. Now what we're going to see on Monday is a trial of Derek Chauvin, and he will be only the 4th officer in the history of the state of Minnesota to be prosecuted for the killing of a member of the community. Only the 4th. The first one was Geronimo Yanez, who killed Philando Castile. He was acquitted. The second was an officer named Brian Crook, who killed a man named Benjamin Evans. He was acquitted. The third was, as we know, Mohammed Noor, who killed Justine Damon, and he was convicted. The only black officer to kill a white person, and then he was convicted. And now we have Derek Chauvin killing a black man. Let us see what these courts do with that.
Let us see.
Let us see. And what I will tell you is we had better see some justice.
Listen! Come on, Michelle.
I fear that if this man walks with a slap on the wrist, or he walks acquitted, it will unleash a reign of terror by the Minneapolis police on our community that we have never seen before. I am deeply fearful of that. And we must hold these officers accountable. We have no systems in place that do that in this state or in this city. We're the city where an international movement jumped off, larger than any prior movement in the world. We are the center of where that happened. And yet, we cannot get our bills across the finish line. We cannot get our city to put into place policies to address police violence. Instead, they bring their buildings in chain link fences, barbed wire, and razor wire because they fear the community more than they fear police violence. And that is shameful. We are here to say that we stand with these families. We are here to say that we will be out protesting. We own this community. It is ours to protest as we choose. We will not be following their First Amendment busting rules. By the way, we sent a letter this morning signed by all of the organizations to Hennepin County Government Center, making it clear that if they do not remove these unconstitutional rules, where they're talking about you're not allowed to have a sign on the government plaza, you're not allowed to use slogans that they don't approve in advance, all of this kind of nonsense. If they do not withdraw those rules immediately, we will see them in court. We will use our First Amendment rights to stand with these families and to demand justice for all stolen lives. Thank you.
Yeah, Michelle.
Jaylani Hussein, Executive Director of CARE Minnesota, the Council on American Islamic Relations. First of all, I want to just say to all the families, we see you, we believe you, and we stand with you.
Yeah.
And we deeply also apologize to you for failing you. And for all the cameras that are here today, where have you been when all these lives were stolen?
Listen!
And so I want to just be frank by saying that this trial is not just about George Floyd. It's about all these names in the state of Minnesota and the countless of names across this country. And it's not that the police are just killing our family members, community members, but they are also detaining them and putting them into for-profit prisons in this system, in this country. So while we have lost these lives, there are many lives today who are wrongfully incarcerated across this country that we also stand with them, because the same racist police officers who shoot and kill our brothers and sisters are the same police officers removing parents from their children all over this country. Family separation happens every single day in America to a black family because of law enforcement. Today, I want to speak to the strength of the state of Minnesota, not the weakness. The weakness is very obvious. We are the last state to lynch Native Americans in the history of the United States through a presidential order. We are the last state to lynch black men in Duluth, Minnesota. And we are definitely going to be the last state to lynch a man on 38th in Chicago named George Floyd, because we are going to turn the corner. For far too long, the niceness of our Norwegian and Scandinavian, German heritage is now have to come into play. Our weakness, we know, but our strength is what we demand now. We demand to pass these legislations because they are a path forward. I want you to know that those barricades that are up now, they represent what we have been fighting against for so long. Every single time we call out to bring accountability to law enforcement, we are faced with walls and barbed wires in all formats. And right now, as we are demanding for these policies to move forward, in the Capitol, they are building the walls and the barricades to deny us justice and to move us forward. So I demand every single Minnesotan, you are guilty in killing George Floyd. Let's make the change that we demand to happen today. And for those individuals and organizations across the state of Minnesota who want to stand and support this cause, to get out of their butt and to join this movement, we encourage you. You can go to mncoalition.org. It's a website. It's to see the bills, but to join this fight and to demand justice. We are not stopping. We are not going anywhere. And when the cameras leave, we will have our cell phones. Yes. When the justice system turns a blind eye, we will be in front of their doors. When the politicians door knock on our doors but fail to pass these policies, we will be going to their individual homes, to their families, and door knocking for justice. Because we are tired of being tired of not getting anything passed in this state and in this country. Yep. The buck stops on 38th in Chicago. Yep. And we, the community of all colors, of all families, are here together united. And so Minnesota's strength, we Minnesotans are on the clock right now. Are we going to be the state that looks at protesters or looks at police who have continuously perpetuated violence? That violence that perpetuated here in the Minneapolis is the same violence that brought my family to this country because of the violence that this country had perpetuated in my home country. It's time to stand up. It's time to stand up, and I demand that we all fight for justice by any means necessary.
Hello everyone, my name is Angela Rose Myers. I am the president of the Minneapolis NAACP, which stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And we're here today in support of families, of people. We are supporting those who have lost their loved ones, who have lost their body parts and their limbs because of police violence. It has to stop and it has to end, and the way to do it is through passing legislation, is through talking to people, talking to your representatives, through voting. I believe in the democracy of our country, and I believe that our democracy can reflect our values. Since when is it that our values are people dead on the ground? Since when is murder our value? It is not. We do not value murder in this country, and we will not perpetuate murder in this country, particularly by those who we pay to protect us.
Yes, listen.
So today I just wanted to say that the Minneapolis NAACP, we stand with the families, we stand with those who have lost their loved ones, and we're praying for you. And
go ahead. We got you.
We got you.
Go ahead.
We got your back.
Got your back. We got you. Got it.
I'm praying for you, and I'm here for you.
Yes.
And we're going to stand with you, and we are going to fight. Because when we fight, we win.
Yes.
Yes, Angela.
Yes. Listen.
Hello, my name is Jess Sundin, Jessssundin. I represent Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar. We're also part of the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. The whole world is watching this trial, and in cities across the country, people will be standing with these families, with our community, to join us in demanding justice for George Floyd. Why? Because as Tashira said at the beginning of this gathering, his face is the face of hundreds. And in this country, thousands. Every community in this country has lost people, has had people stolen by police violence. We are part of a broader community of people who believe in justice and believe that we have not only the right but the responsibility to demand it. So while this city spends more on barricades and razor wires than compensating almost any victim of police violence, with one exception, we will spend nothing except our energy, our passion, our voices, our unity, and our solidarity to demand not only that Derek Chauvin be convicted of his crimes, but that his accomplices are next, and after them, every other police crime is accounted for, and our communities have the right to control who polices us and how. And with that, I just want to thank Tashira and the families for organizing this important event. You are, in fact, the fire that fuels this movement, and I thank you all for your work.
Real quick, State Representative John Thompson. I'm here with Mama Val. I call her Mama Val because it's my mama, Valerie Castile. And I just wanted to talk real quick about some of the root causes of why we have so much over-policing in our communities. And acts that you support, Minnesota House File 784, which actually targets everything that's happening in our community. This bill will actually appropriate funds where there hasn't been investments in our community already, which causes people to, when people can't eat, they're going to go out and get it regardless if you give it to them or not. And people always say, pull yourself up by our bootstraps, but we don't have no straps on the side of our boots because you keep giving us boots with no straps. But I know someone said yesterday that this bill created separation. And I thought, well, man, when were we ever in this kumbaya moment where we're together? Because if we were, we wouldn't be having the need for some of these things. So I just want to outline that we're asking for money for cultural heritage and preservation in our communities, entrepreneurial and business training, housing and stabilization initiatives. We ask for resources, and we call it the Philando Castile Community Center, where we have our own resources in our community, our own mental health professionals, our own culturally competent tutors, our own culturally competent job placement people, our own culturally competent tradesmen. And they're taking the trades out of our community. I'll be fast. Culturally competent healthcare services and mental health services in our community. You see, you complain about our community, but you stop investing in our community, which creates a need for public safety because the fear of the black man is real. We'll keep going. School and breakfast, lunch debt. I mean, we could come up with $38 million to prepare for a George Floyd trial, but we can't afford to feed the kids a hot lunch and meal. So I'm challenging a lot of legislators legislators to look at this. Because I put this bill forward and somebody told me that I was creating division. Well, if we were together, we would have the only divided state in legislation here in the United States. Anyway, guidance counseling and tutorial services in our communities. We don't need a room full of culturally incompetent teachers teaching our children black history in these schools no more. Crime and violence prevention that we come up with. We know how to stop crime in our community. Give these brothers and sisters an opportunity to make $60,000 or $80,000. And then all of a sudden that night out at the bar turn into a six-pack in the refrigerator. Recidivism reduction rates will go down. Right? You know, this pipeline to prison is real and it's a conveyor belt. And I'm just saying, these people know, we know you know what's happening to us. We just want it to stop. And I think that this bill completely targets a lot of the things. Can I go a little bit more? Just one more thing. We also want money pumped into the Department of Human Rights to do a thorough investigation. A thorough investigation. And by the way, since we're here, we don't want Andrew Luger as our Thompson, Minnesota House File 784. It has a Senate file, which is 800. And I'm giving you the scoop on these Senate files and House files. They just sit there in these committees with these chairs, and they say, I'm not going to give you a hearing until the session is over with. We have the right to have hearings on every bill we propose to legislation. We don't say anything when they go in our pocket and take our tax dollars. We don't even get a say so. They just stick their hand in our pocket and take our tax dollars. We ask you to invest in our buildings. Right? I heard somebody saying legislation that these buildings that burn down is a Minneapolis problem and rural Minnesota shouldn't pay for them. But when the farmers had a problem, when the weather was wrong and they couldn't raise their crops, when the farmers had a problem, Minnesota came and helped. Right? They're not going to send police here to this state to help us in case we're up. But when there's a murder in Waseca, when there's a real domestic terrorist in Waseca, shooting up people, we sent the Minnesota Bureau of African, we sent Minnesota to you. And so when you say that this is a Minnesota, Minneapolis and St. Paul problem, I said, well then, what do you mean I'm creating division? This is one Minnesota. And I believe we can do exactly what we said we're going to do. Minnesota used to be a place. We brought our families here because Minnesota was a place where our kids thrived, right? Now all of a sudden we got an achievement gap that's the worst in the United States. And people are telling me that I'm creating division. I'm not creating division. I'm just shining a light on how Minnesota is not so nice. And legislation created a lot of disparities we see in this state. Legislators and legislation can fix a lot of disparities. They help cause them. Some of these people are responsible, just as responsible for the fires as the people who set them. By the way, the people who set those fires didn't come from our district. Right? These were the patriots. These were the patriots that were defending the doggone United States Capitol. Thank you so much.
We have one last speaker. This is the cousin of Emmett Till. Well, we have her speaking, and then we're going to also have Mel Reeves that's just going to speak about the event that we are having tomorrow, and then we're going to go ahead and close out. But we believe we have to call it out for what it is. These are racially motivated murders in the state of Minnesota. Emmett Till is the history, the known history of a racially motivated murder.
Yes.
I compared the father of my son, Justin Tigan's murder to Emmett Till because of the brutalization, the fact that his skull was cracked in half, he had dog bites on his body, his wrist was detached from his arms. It was the most inhumane thing I have ever seen, and it reminded me of Emmett Till. So we have his loved one here to speak on his behalf today. We will have her speak, Mel Reeves speak about the event tomorrow, and then we will close out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Whew. The past is not past until justice prevails. The past is not past until justice prevails. I'm Deborah Watts, cousin of Emmett Till. Our great-grandfathers were brothers. I'm also the president and CEO and executive director of the Emmett Till Legacy Foundation. I stand here in solidarity with these families, with George Floyd's family, because the past is not past until justice prevails. Emmett Till was murdered in 1955, on August 28, 1955. We are still, close to 66 years, fighting for justice. Something is wrong with that.
Yeah.
When the last living accomplice has never been charged, has been covered in police protection, judicial protection. Sounds similar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? So where are we today? We have not made much progress, but we are standing on the shoulders of all of those that have gone before us. There is an H.R. 55 on the national level, federal level, which is the anti-lynching bill that was stopped in Congress last year. Bobby Rush has introduced it this year. Anti-lynching. We still have the ability to lynch in this country. Minnesota, Mississippi. I don't see much of a difference. So we are standing on those shoulders, expecting justice, and should be achieving justice. The Emmett Lewis Till Victims Recovery Program was introduced last year, but because of what Representative mentioned in terms of hearings and those kind of things, which would have been, it was before George Floyd, which would have provided many of the things that are in the Philando Castile legislation, which I hope passes. Because guess what? The one thing that doesn't get any justice are the families. They don't have a way forward. They don't have a way to recover in their lives. They don't have a way to repair their lives. And they stand here with grief and pain, as I stand here with grief and pain for 66 years. Something is wrong with that. So as you all think about what needs to happen going forward, I would just say the past does not pass until justice prevails. We are about the business of connecting the past to the present and the future. Justice for them all. Black Lives Matter and justice for Emmett Till.
Glad you all came out. As Tashira mentioned, this is part of what the families are talking about, is part of a national day of action. And you all ought to know that this gives you an idea of the magnitude of the problem of police violence. It's just not about Derek Chauvin. These people is just a small microcosm of how many people have been affected by the problem of police violence. Thousands and thousands of families have been affected by this. That's right. Thousands of people have lost their lives. Thousands of families are still struggling. Tens of thousands of family members are still struggling. And some people never overcome this thing. So this is important because tomorrow we're going to have, as part of a national day of our action, hundreds of families from the West Coast to the East Coast, South, and North are going to be taking part in a protest tomorrow, in a rally, all at the same time. They're calling it a national day of action. We have three demands. One is that we demand justice for George Floyd. We demand that all the killer cops be prosecuted. I'm going to repeat that. All of them. All the killer cops. And we demand that all the cases of police violence, police brutality be reopened. I'll repeat that. So that these folks that are standing around here can get justice. They're not giving up on the idea of justice. So we have three demands tomorrow. Justice for George Floyd. We demand that all the cops that brutalize us be prosecuted and that all the cases be reopened. And so we'll be out, and that will be happening all around the country tomorrow. You name a major city, there's going to be a protest, a rally, or demonstration. And they're going to be out because they want the whole country to understand that this is an epidemic. We're going through a pandemic, right, called COVID. We have another pandemic in this country called police violence. And people got up and talked about legislation and the law, but the only reason that we're here now, the only reason that Derek Chauvin is going to be on trial is because people were in the streets, right? And that's the only way this is going to be solved. So again, we want you to come out tomorrow at the governor's mansion at 2 o'clock. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, all the families will be there, other people supporting them. I'm glad you all came out because, again, you've got to tell this story. You're going to tell the story of police violence. You can't tell it without talking about the victims. All right, Michelle? You can't tell it, right, Sister Shearer? All right, so tomorrow, 2 o'clock, the governor's mansion. We hope to see y'all there. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're here live in Aloft Hotel in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis. What you heard was a multitude of families from Brian Quinones to Isaac Aiden to Travis Jordan to Jamar Clark, Dalal Eid, Justin Tigan, and quite a few others. I think I may be missing some. Walter Collins, Demetrius Hill, as well as maybe a few others. You also heard at the end, basically, State Representative John Thompson, as well as John McClellan, who works with developing bills, talk about some of the bills that they're putting forward. They talked about this legislative demands at the state of Minnesota, which is end qualified immunity, police professional liability insurance, civilian oversight strengthened, ending police-only responses to mental health crisis calls, ending the statute of limitations for wrongful deaths, and a few others, as well as ending no-knock raids and some other things. So, again, we also see this man Soren, who lost his eye from police violence during the George Floyd protests. So we're just a few blocks away from the trial proceedings, where the trial of Derek Chauvin will be, and that is all fenced up. We will be continuing to bring you coverage from the trial and from the aftermath and from the community response on the streets of the trial. So again, thank you all for joining. This is Nico. Continue to follow us. We have a lot of upcoming specials. We also have a Beyond the Barricades mini doc that's coming out about George Floyd Square, as well as some other things coming up soon. So continue to follow us. Continue to check out our work. UnicornRiot.ninja is our website. UnicornRiot.ninja/donate to donate. And yes, thank you all. Have a good one.